Hello everyone, welcome. It's Monika here, the Good Therapist. Thank you so much for joining me, and today we're going to be looking at confidence and competence and why they are very different. The two definitely shouldn't be confused, but we'll also discuss how you can actually bridge the gap, as I'm sure, like myself, I'm sure that at some stage you've seen other practitioners, or you've seen them do lives like this, or seen them on stage, and maybe you've asked yourself, how I wish I could do that too. How could I do that? I wish I could do that, but I'm just not confident enough to do that. And so we'll dive into that today, and how you can be confident, how you can be competent, and how you can actually have the practice that you desire. Obviously putting in the time and energy in order to cultivate that. So we're talking about confidence, and we're talking about competence, and clarifying the two, and how you can actually bridge the gap. And so we're looking at showing up. Sorry, I've got some it's always the way, isn't it? Got people mowing the lawn, but I thought I'd jump on anyway, because this stuff's too important, so we're just going to have to ignore all the other sounds. So confidence and competence. And so we're also looking at obviously that conviction as well, how to convey yourself with conviction. So this is a question for you right now. When you think about your practice, and you think about whether, regardless of whether you're a coach or a therapist or a healer, in this group we're all we've all got various modalities, like myself. Hey Lauren, thank you so much for joining. So the question is for you. What at the moment, what do you feel like you need more of right now? Is it that you feel like you need more confidence? Is that what you need to show up with more of, confidence? Or is it more competence in terms of your actual practice? Like, is there certain trainings and skills that you feel like you're lacking, or that you need more of in order to do a better job? Or is it you're like, I think I'm pretty good at what I do, but I just like to be able to confidently present myself. So type in which do you feel that you need right now. Is it confidence or is it competence? So it's really important that we make that distinction between what those two are. And self-confidence is really about an activity or skill. So it's about, yes, being confident within yourself, being self-assured and everything, but it's having belief in your own ability to do X, Y, Z. And so when we look at confidence, perhaps externally from other people, we can see people in our industry who are really confident. They're out there on stage, and they're doing stuff, and they just seem to be everywhere and have a presence. But what I can say is that confidence has actually got little to do with competence. Or in reverse, competence, confidence does come from competence, but competence does not come from having self-confidence. So it is actually a one-way street, because you can be confident, and be really outgoing and extroverted, and hey, look at me, but in your practice and in your one-to-one or group work or whatever, you could be falling short. So I think it's really important to make that distinction, that when you see leaders, and when you see people in the public eye, and perhaps those people that you look up to, or new people entering your sphere or your world, maybe on social media, maybe otherwise, just recognize that confidence doesn't actually give you an indication of how well they do what they do. Yeah. So Lauren says confidently present. Yeah, absolutely. And Lauren, I had struggled with this for many years. you know, one of my biggest fears, or the biggest fear, was presenting, was public speaking. Like I just, you know, broke out in sweats and hyperventilated and all of that. And so if you listen in, I'll give you actually a strategy on what to do there, because I felt the same way. Typically not extroverted, not I don't want to be seen. Like I don't want to be that person center stage, you know, speaking to thousands. And for some, that's something that you're aspiring to do, and good on you. That's a fantastic goal to have. For me personally, I'd much rather be, you know, the champion at the side of the stage going, yes, go, do it, fantastic, you can do this, rather than the person center stage. That's me, that's my preference. So when we look at competence, so we talked about self-confidence and confidence in your practice, and yeah, so Lauren says, I'm confident in practice and I can, you know, do masterclass. Exactly. And Facebook, very well. Beautiful. Wonderful. So, you know, when we talk about competence, and that sounds like you have, that what you're describing, Lauren, sounds like you've got competence in actually your skill and your ability as a practitioner. And so that's really what competence is. It's actually being proficient in your ability to do your job, XYZ, your practice, and to deliver the results for your clients. And so how you get confident is super easy, is being able to, you know, show up, and it's actually being able to, you know, being able to show up and speak up as well. You know, it's being able to speak up and show up, and show up where there is a potential client there. And so in order to become confident, to be a confident practitioner, it's actually knowing what you stand for first and foremost. So you don't have to be extroverted. You don't have to, you know, be like the, hey, look at me. Yes, I've got this amazing tool and I'm going to help you. And it comes with, you know, 6 steak knives. You don't have to be like that. You don't have to do that. How you, you know, can actually develop that skill of confidently speaking to your prospective client, that, you know, whether it be, you know, here like on this Facebook Live, or whether it be in that one-to-one consultation, or whether it be group work, or whatever it is that you're doing, or, you know, perhaps if you're going to a networking meeting and speaking to other professionals, there is that feeling of, oh, I just don't have the confidence to do that. And so how you actually do that is to develop, and this is what I do with my when I'm coaching and mentoring other therapists, is that we actually develop a professional philosophy. So what is that? It is you mapping out exactly what your position is on what it is that you do. Okay? It's mapping out your position on you know, what it is that you do and how you actually deliver it. Because the thing is that, you know, we've got, I would say, at least 20 to 30 different modalities in this group, and we're all focused on one thing, is to help our clients out of the pain and hurt and the suffering that they're going through. So naturally, through that variation of all those different modalities, there's going to be a variation on how you actually deliver. Yeah, there's going to be the injection of your history and beliefs and how you became a therapist as well, as you know, as I have as well. Yeah. And then there's going to be that filter as well of you filtering through all those modalities and the, you know, what you've seen has worked and hasn't worked for you. So, you know, for instance, you know, one of the things I use really effectively is timeline therapy. Okay, a very modified version, very modified. But when I first learnt it, the very traditional way, I was like, nah, this ain't gonna work. I'm not using this. This is crap. it's too confusing. It's, you know, it's like kind of wishy-washy outcomes. And so that can taint, your ability to actually deliver that modality and use that system or tool or intervention technique. So at the end of the day, you need to really be clear and map out what is your professional philosophy, you know, and I don't mean, you know, listing your bio. That's not what I mean. I mean in terms of clearly articulating to that prospective client or to people who perhaps are, you know, in your networking circle, what it is that you do, who you help, and in what way do you do that? And in what way you do that. So then you can actually be confident, in talking about it, in talking about what you do. And you can be clear also to disagree with people. Yeah. So I was at a networking event. So a networking event that I ran, that we ran in Doncaster, and I was able to say, well, no, I don't agree with that. So, you know, I was talking with another professional, and we're talking about, you know, trauma and releasing trauma, and you know, and this other therapist was, you know, very well trained, had a number of different, you know, therapies, and had, you know, lots of education and things like that, and said, you know, in order to release trauma, they need to feel it in that moment, and then to be able to release it. And this is also the philosophy of, you know, some of the great psychiatrists and therapists that are out there. You know, 𝐊𝐴 he has this philosophy too, but I don't. In my practice, I don't. And so I was able to respectfully say, oh, look, you know, in my experience, I haven't found that is actually necessary. I can help, you know, I can help the people that I work with, my clients, to release emotions and to release traumas and anxiety and things like that from those past events in a disassociated way, where they don't actually have to re-experience that trauma. And so when you have that professional philosophy and that core philosophy about, you know, who you are as a practitioner and what you stand for, and how you actually create that change process for your clients, you know, where are they at the start before they see you, and where are they at the end? When you have that clearly mapped out for yourself, then you can deliver that to your conversations and discussions with people, whether that be clients, whether that be networking events, whether that be, you know, in a book that you're going to write, or Facebook Lives, or wherever it is. But you've got to be clear on what you stand for. And it's okay to be polarizing. It's okay to disagree and go, hey, that's not me. This is what I believe in, and this is what has worked for me. Because that shows then that you're working from experience. Yeah, and that you're not diluting what you do. Because at the end of the day, and you know, and you shouldn't be scared of saying, well, like, that's not my experience, because it isn't. So, you know, it's like saying, yes, every therapy and every modality is going to be fantastic and good. You know, yes, CB is fantastic. Yep, hypnotherapy is awesome. Yep, coaching is going to be fine. You know, like, that's just not the case. Like, we've all chosen our professions and our modalities based on, you know, believing that that's actually the best thing that we can deliver to our clients. Yeah, or else we would be doing something else. If I didn't believe hypnotherapy was the best thing, then what the hell am I doing it? You know, what am I using it for? So it's having that belief in what you do and how you do it, and delivering that clearly. And like I said, we, you know, with all my coaching and mentoring clients, this is actually the essential first step. Yeah, when you have your professional philosophy mapped out, what ends up happening is that, yes, you get really clear on what you do. So part of that is having your client avatar, like part. It's a small part, but it's your professional philosophy is the foundations of your practice. So when you have that clear and you have that mapped out and written out, and then it's easy to write your website. Yeah, it's easy because it's like you've got the professional philosophy, you know what you're doing, you know that change process of your clients, you've got all that. So it's easy to write web copy. Yeah, you don't have to agonize over copy. What else? It's clear when you're being invited to collaborate on projects. Yeah. So Lauren and I have collaborated on the Anxiety Relief Handbook because I specialise in anxiety release, and I use powerful hypnotherapy programs in order to do that. And so I invited people to come along and to join with me in that collaboration with others who are actually aligned with that as well. And so we all have this same kind of core philosophy that complementary therapies that we support complementary therapies, and no one therapy is the best therapy. It's all like about what is the best for you and what you've used that brings the best outcomes and results for your clients. And so when you have that professional philosophy mapped out for yourself and for your practice, then all of these projects and that you do and that you roll out, including courses and things like that, and programs for your clients, whether it be one-to-one or group programs, that all becomes easy. It becomes easy to write about. It becomes easy to describe, because you bring everything back to your professional philosophy so that you can talk about it. You can clearly convey the value of it. You can demonstrate and talk about your clients' results as a result of that. Yeah. Because you're solid on it. So you're not kind of trying to win people over with your bio. Yes, I've got a psychology degree. Yes, I've got a coaching degree. Yes, I've got hypnotherapy. Yes, because people aren't really interested in that. They're not. It's like good for you, but not really what's in it for me is the ultimate question that they're asking about. And so when you have your professional philosophy, this is how I work. Yeah, this is what we do. This is the clients that I work with, and these are the end results. Then you're really painting a picture for that client or your networking group or your audience of who it is that you serve, how you serve them, and the results that you get with them. So I hope that's been useful to clarify. And so when we then talk about competence and how do you actually get competent, competence comes with doing. I know it's not like, there's no kind of big revelation there, but really competence comes with doing. And competence comes with doing that one thing over and over and over again really, really well. So when you're talking about your client results, you can say, when I apply this and when I do this, this is what I get. And it's very, very clear. There's no dilution there. Yeah. But when you're working with a lot of different various issues, and when your scope of work is very, very broad, it makes it harder because you're kind of going shallow. You're not seeing as many people in that one particular kind of narrow field, to be able to really map out and understand and articulate, where what their concerns and issues are, their fears and frustrations and everything like that, and then working with you what the process is in terms of step 1, 2, 3, 4. Because the more people and the more various different issues that you work with, you need to map out the same sort of thing for every single issue. So there's depression, there's anxiety, and there's hypnotherapists do quit smoking, and then you're working with professionals, and there's just so many people and niches that you could work in, and And when you are across all of them, which I do recommend when you're first starting out, but when you're across all of them, it makes it more difficult to become competent in all of those areas. So that's just something for you to think about and to consider. So at the moment, you know, I'm specialising in that anxiety, and I've become really good at it. To the point where I'm not just working with individuals, kind of like the general public with anxiety. I'm also working with professional anxiety as well. So people who have their own businesses, who are, who are making, millions of dollars, like, company leaders, but who have, like the next level jitters, who are like, they're at the top and they don't have that kind of support to kind of guide them to, make the right decision and, put their fears to rest about their own ability to grow their company, to be effective, and all of those things. And so when you become really good at that one thing, then you can move across and apply that to so many different people. So, for instance, I work with anxiety with individuals. I work with anxiety with business owners, company directors. I work with anxiety with other therapists. Yeah, but all my core philosophy is about that anxiety. So I hope that's been useful. That competence comes with doing, and it's doing. And so I guess it's important to, ask the question, how do you know that you're competent? How do you know that, like, yes, I'm doing, and I've been doing this for a few years now, Monika, but how do I know I'm competent, right? So first and foremost, there are a few competency tools actually that you can use and that you can rate yourself, depending on what it is that you actually want to get really good at. And so there's a few, like if you look up informed practice, I know Scott Miller has got a few tools on measuring those results, but also your clients will give you the feedback too on your competence. You'll get those raving reviews. You might get I guess more retention as well. People want to continue working with you even after they've addressed the issue, maybe on and being more proactive on a few other things. So your clients will be the biggest indicator about your competence, and you'll see their results. Yeah, you'll see them flourish. They'll be giving you testimonials and feedback, and also referring other people. That's one of the biggest signs, biggest compliments that you can get as a practitioner, is that when the people that you work with and the clients that you work with refer their nearest and dearest to you because they trust you so much. Yeah, that's so cool when that happens. And you're like, oh yeah, thank you. Thanks for referring. Thanks for trusting me with this person. Thanks for trusting me, with your mum or your sister, your brother, your husband and wife. And that's the feedback as well. So today we've covered what it is to have self-confidence, and that having self-confidence doesn't necessarily mean that you're competent in what you're doing. So when you're looking at people going live like this, for instance, or on stage or whatever, please don't confuse that confidence, the being gregarious and being maybe being loud and everything like that, to having competence and knowing, them knowing what they're doing. So those two things, are interdependent. However, having that competence is what we've talked about, is knowing your stuff, being proficient at what you do. That competence will lead to your confidence. Okay, and that's certainly been the case for me. Being competent in the practice, getting those results. I've been able to then, do things like this, like lives, and share my results, share my insights, and because I've done it over and over again. Doesn't mean that I'm going to go out on stage and talk in front of 5,000 people though. right? Because I don't want to do that. So, and that competence, yeah, that competence comes from doing, but that confidence can be boosted by having and mapping out your professional philosophy, so that when you are talking to clients and when you are going out and speaking about what you do, you can speak clearly, articulately, and confidently, and be able to demonstrate the results that you get for your clients, so that you can, so that you can be a match, so people know what you do, and that you can be a match for them. So I hope this has helped. Hope this has been of value to you. Please reach out if you are interested in mapping out your professional philosophy. This is something that I do, and I've done heaps of times, so that you can actually get clear, and so that you can develop that confidence in talking about what it is that you do. So just go ahead and send me a private message, and I'm more than happy to talk to you about that and what's involved. All right. So thank you so much for watching. Take care. Be well, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.